My guest today is someone who knows the grief of losing a loved one to suicide and also the joy of seeing people encouraged and inspired to pursue a life of purpose and meaning. Nicki Jeffrey is a mother, a teacher, and she's written a number of books and also produced a short documentary in memory of her sister Michelle, who was lost to suicide. Welcome to see you, Nicki.
Thank you.
Now, you wanted to be a writer from a young age?
Yeah, I've always loved writing stories, and I grew up on a sheep and wheat farm in central New South Wales, and I think there was always a lot of inspiration out there on the land, so I just loved writing stories.
Yeah, so were there encouragement from voices and other people around you to do it?
Yeah, I think my mum was always my biggest fan. She'd always read the things I wrote and edit them for me, and I think there was always encouragement to write and pursue what I was passionate about.
And people here can see the number of books that you've written, some of them very different, faith-based travels, which is not just the Bible text, what you and your sister when you're travelling, but practical things. I noticed in it tells you, be sure you look at the dates on food when you're eating them and practical things like that. But your books are a wide ranging. Why did you write them?
Well, initially I wrote faith-based travels because I love to journal, and my sister and I took a trip to Canada. We did working holidays in Canada. So we were over there for a year, and I thought, I saw a few Christians in their travels that seemed to pack their Bible but then leave it in their bag. And, you know, that 18 to 25 age group where you're out partying. And I thought, how can people stay close to God when they're in a gap year? So that was my heart behind that book. Encouraging Mums with Hope was because I faced postnatal depression when I had my two sons. So I wanted to encourage other mums, particularly women of faith, if they were facing a mental health struggle. Precious Michelle, a celebration of my sister.
And I like the way you're talking about it as a celebration, because we should think that way, shouldn't we? However sad a situation is, we don't want to say there's nothing more that we can say anymore that's good, but to celebrate the good. You lost your sister to suicide. How did that impact your life?
Yeah, it was such a deep loss, such an unexpected thing to happen. And whether you expect a death or not, it still comes as a shock. But I think there is a different kind of grief you face when it's a suicide grief, because there's a lot of questions of guilt, like could I have done something more, regret, what if I'd said this or done this, would she still be here? And the fact that she supported me in my own journey when I had postnatal depression, I really wanted to support her when she was struggling, and I just didn't get that opportunity. It was taken from me too soon. So yeah, it was just so unexpected.
And you produced a short film called Precious Michelle. Let's take a look at that, and then we'll come back and have a conversation a little bit more together.
This is where Michelle and I would often catch up. There were times that I knew that she was under stress of some sort because she had a short amount of time to meet up. She didn't feel like that people would, you know, see her here, interrupt us talking.
I think she was fearful of losing her job. She was fearful of people knowing that she wasn't going well in her mind.
She needed to be the positive person and the one that was counselling and helping others. And if you took that role away from her, if she thought that she couldn't counsel anymore, if she thought she wasn't going to be able to work, then that was devastating to her.
It's sad. It's also exciting to be able to think you can do something that would be used. How will this be used, this?
This documentary is already being used to educate health professionals, particularly those who are just studying at the moment. It's also able to be used in churches, so we'd really like to see churches showing it to congregations, because we think there's a message there, particularly for Christian people, because Michelle was a woman of faith, and yet she got to that place of desperation and such emotional pain that she took her own life.
And you know, because I've said this to you offset, I'm glad you're prepared to say that, because there are many Christians might think that they're exempt from all these kind of experiences, protected in some magical way, and that isn't the case, is it?
That's right, and I think I really learnt that for myself when I faced postnatal depression. I was thinking, oh, Christians shouldn't be depressed, what's going on here? Maybe I don't have a real faith, what's happened? But I discovered that, you know, as the Bible says, that we will suffer. In this world you will have trouble, but Jesus is with us, you know, through every storm. So, yeah, I think as well from the Bible that God comforts us, and then with the comfort we receive, we can comfort others.
And you would never think that this was going to happen to someone in your own family, would you?
Not at all.
I'd like to just push one more question back to you, because I think it's something that I'm bound to ask and people are bound to consider. And I think it's, in that particular place, is it something that you ever thought could happen to you?
I didn't think it could happen to me, no. And I think it's just those times that you have to really trust God, even though it's challenging.
And did you feel somehow you were equipped in the middle of it all to be able to deal with it in yourself and in the way you walked with your sister?
I didn't really feel that equipped, but since losing my sister, I went and did Wesley suicide prevention training, one of those one-day courses, and I think that helped me learn some skills for the kinds of questions I could have asked or could ask in the future for people.
So a final question, what advice would you give to someone who is asking that question about how this is happening to them? What would you say to them?
I believe that we have to go through a journey and this will pass, but it's just hanging in there while it's happening and even just getting the right training to help you be able to help someone else. So doing a course, even doing mental health first aid, I think those courses are very valuable.